me the latest news surrounding the proposed data center.
Well, we were informed this afternoon by Clayco and CRG that they were withdrawing their proposal for the Cumulus project. Not a lot of description given. Basically, it was, I'm going to say, the error of their ways. I think after the town hall, or the open house rather, that they held on Thursday, I think there's a clear message that people were upset and that the information that they were providing wasn't quelling those fears. I've been researching this project. It started a year ago. I've been researching this thing for a long time. And yeah, we just keep going down blind alleys. And I know it's a very competitive thing. And you know, it's not like we never do non-disclosure agreements. We do them all the time with people because you don't want your competitors to know what you're doing. But this one went to the point where it was just ridiculous and they needed to step back. And there's a lot of good things about the project, but there's a lot of bad things about the project. And I think until the full scope of it's understood, and they've withdrawn. I don't know if they'll come back or not. That's not even being discussed right now. I believe they said in a press release that they heard the people and that they were going to take a step back, reconsider, maybe revamp, and then come back with a better plan or maybe go someplace else. So, don't know.
Initially, you had supported this project. Tell me how you feel now.
Okay, let's talk about the project. The vote was whether or not they could use diesel generators for power. That's all the vote was about. It's never been about building a data center. If they build a data center, it's going to go on for 10 years. So the confusion was, as soon as people heard diesel fuel, 1 million gallons in the well field, they became upset. Well, there's 125 generators, so it's not 1 million gallons someplace. Disrespective of all that, we don't want one generator to leak. They had measures in place to take care of a lot of that, but the fact of the matter is that it was a lack of information. The culprit was transparency. If they'd have been more upfront with people, I'm not sure we'd have the reaction we have. They may come back and the people are going to say, no, we just don't want it here. Because it's not just pollutants, it's photometrics, it's environment, it's a lot of other things. And they're all over the country. Everybody says, well, they turned it down in Phoenix and they turned it down here. Those people don't have any water. One of the reasons that the people chose this area, specifically St. Charles, was because of the electric and the water and the infrastructure, the availability of all of it. Nevertheless, they came to us, we've looked at it, the people have spoken. I withdrew my support from it, and yeah, when it came to council, it was just about whether or not we use generators. Do they turn to gas generators? Somebody's even said, well, this is just a secret way to slip nuclear energy into the city, so God knows.
So now, after all of this, it's not going to be voted on by the council tomorrow.
They withdrew it. So
okay.
Yeah, people can show up and speak if they like, but it's a moot point at this juncture. I think save your investigation, your wrath, your congratulations or whatever for when they come back, if they even come back. I know they've made a substantial investment in the market, so they may not be willing to walk away from that. But then again, as big as these companies are, and we all know. We can't say who it is, but they're one of the top 5 or 10 companies in the country. So they may just walk away from it, don't know.
Do you think that it is bad for St. Charles that they are, at this point, walking away from it?
No, I think it's probably good. It's time for the average man or lady in the street to believe that their voice matters. And I've been through COVID, I've been through floods, I've been through all of it. It seems like every year that I'm mayor, they come up with a new crisis. But I think it's very important that people understand, yeah, we listened, and even if they hadn't withdrawn it, I'm almost positive it would not have made it on Tuesday. And again, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's just the generators. You have to have a development agreement to be able to do it, and that involves streets and roads and water and air and everything. It didn't get that. It didn't even get to past step 1. So, but I'm proud of the people for doing what they did. And as you know, we had a water main break in the middle of it, and they did the same thing. They stepped up with the water main break, and even as hot as it was with the Festival of Little Hills, they restricted the water. They went through the conservation methods, and I'm proud of them as a city. And I hope this is a demonstration to them that yeah, their voice does matter.
So. I think some people really, during this whole process and the secrecy, really wanted to hear more from you, and were kind of frustrated with the NDAs and the secrecy. I mean, what's your response to that now?
Actually, our attorneys were looking at the NDA to see, it was signed by a staffer. I'm not going to get into that. And I was going to, tomorrow night I was going to say, folks, we do these all the time. This one was more restrictive. Nobody on staff could say anything that was involved in it. And legal was looking at it to say, is it binding, is it not binding, are we going to be sued, are we going to not be sued? So I think we were all told just to hold back. Although, during the entire time, I've been having conversations with the Cumulus people about the chances of it passing, the chances of it failing, what to do, and I think that's why their action took place today.
Okay. So were you at all frustrated by not being able to be as open as you normally are on many issues?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about a month ago. I thought we broke through to them. We had a meeting. They evidently got some permissions to say some things, but then it was rescinded like 2 days later. So we were right back to where we were. So we're really no farther than we were 5 months ago as far as transparency is concerned. So, but I think again, to the people, it showed the power of the people, and to the developers, it showed you got to be upfront. Nobody wants to be bamboozled. And I don't think they were bamboozled, but this competition element with all of them that are being built all over the country, it's just very, very stringent.
I know that there are still, even now, I've talked to some people following this news, that there are concerns still because of the zoning of the area, that it's no longer agricultural, that it's industrial. I mean,
It's been industrial.
it has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So with those still concerns of like, oh, well, what's going to be put in there next, if anything, like, can you speak to that?
There's not been
at
anything
all?
there for 50 years. I don't know there'll be anything again for 50 years. And that's not really a consideration. The consideration is just, was it good for the city or not? Nope. As far as my involvement, one of the things that I owe the people is I owe them, it's my job. I owe them my objectivity. And as mayor, I can't just go on social media, see something I don't like, and fly from the seat of my pants and say this is bad or good. It's my responsibility to them to give them good, solid information. That was my frustration with being able to gather it, and my frustration with being able to pass it along. So I'm the assigned target. I don't even get a vote. The city council votes. I don't even get a vote. So
With there was some concern about too your possible family relations and that involvement with the land itself.
Right.
Can you?
I knew
speak to
nothing
that?
about that, but Thursday at the open house, a gentleman who ran against me for mayor came up and said, well, you're doing this because your family owns the ground. And I went, I don't know anything about it. All I know is CRG has it. Well, no, you've got a family member. And so I looked at the genealogy today. I think it's a second or third. I have no idea who the people are. I'm related to just about everybody in St. Charles, the Boscherts and the Eccles and everybody else. I talked to Steve Ellman. We had lunch yesterday. He said, yeah, I'm even related to Steve Ellman. So it was a political shot.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
For those who were critical of maybe your initial support, I mean, what do you say to them right now?
Initially, when they talked about the generators, the vote went down 4-5, so it was pretty split on the board. And I did not, at that point, see the risk of just the generation. There's so many steps beyond that that I didn't feel like it was all that significant. Just, okay, let's see what's next if you do this. Never got that far.
Okay.
So.
Is there any other points that you wanted to hit on or talk about? I know there was a lot of misinformation. There was a lot going on with this.
Well, I think I had 150 emails between lunch and you just coming now. So a lot of people are concerned about it. That's what I need. I need that feedback. I need that input from the people. As far as my support for it was concerned, I mean, millions and millions of dollars come into this community as a result of these things. That was one of the considerations. So like I said, I look at the advantages, the disadvantages. I look at the risks, I look at the rewards. I was still in that process. Thursday night, that was the decision point. When I saw all the people and what they felt about it, I got the message. So, yeah. I don't apologize for the early support. That's my job. I look at it. There were 9 of us that voted. 4 voted, 5 voted for, or 4 voted for, 5 voted against. So that made it go into a supermajority at the council also, which is much more difficult to achieve.
Right. And then, you know, there was the jobs aspect. Like, I know that was a lot of like the
Unions
chambers
are
and the
100% behind it. The chamber's behind it.
Yeah.
Businesses are behind it. Risk and reward, you know. What's 1,000 jobs for the union? That's very important. But at the same time, if it pollutes the water, you know, you can go a long time without data. You can only go 3 days without water.
I know that there was talk about them doing significant improvements to the water, being able to not rely on our, you know, the contaminated area. Was that a positive of this in your mind?
It would have been, yes. Yeah.
Is there still hope that maybe we can do this another way that doesn't involve.
There's no secret that I have expansion ambitions north of Highway B. We're a landlocked city. We need to move that direction. To do that, we'd have to have water and we'd have to have electric and other things considered. So that was a fringe part of all the considerations, and I can't really get into all that. But there was upside as well as downside, and that's why I kind of kept reserving my judgment. I knew the judgment day was coming at the vote. So before it got there, I'd already made my decision.